This month's Max Tracks took me to the Wawa Mountains. The name sounds like the desperate, raspy request of a parched wanderer. And parch describes the region. It was home to thousands who got water by wagon and rail during a frontier mining boom. But now, just one family lives there, making the most of limited spring water. And if you're adventurous, you can experience history hands-on and glimpse unique beauty in solitude. One landmark I wanted to see in the Wawas, this amazing mountain. It's called Crystal Peak. I had only seen it in photographs. The Utah Geological Survey says a volcanic eruption over 30 million years ago melded diverse material into a white stew they call tunnel spring tuff. The low-lying layer lifted at a fault line, creating a new mountain at the north end of the Wawa Range. And if you hike to its slopes, the mountain reveals even more character. This giant mountain of rock looks so imposing, but all those pockmarks you see along it, well, there's some close to me here, and take a look. Those are evidence that this is a much younger and more fragile mountain than those surrounding it. See here. Geologists call the mini caverns Tofoni, and the larger ones look designed for a prone person, sparking the imagination of children and this childish adult. Get all the way in. Whoa! Whoa! Didn't take me far. There wasn't another human being within miles of my camp, but I remembered the first time I heard of this place. It was at the Utah State Capitol almost exactly 2 years before my visit.
I live at Wawa Ranch. I own the spring complex. It's my everything.
That's Mark Winch, fighting against efforts to take water from the ground below his ranch, so I knew someone lived somewhere in this largely unoccupied landscape.
My husband is a sixth-generation rancher.
I knocked on the ranch house door. In the early autumn, the porch was an inviting place to sit and talk to Nikki Winch, Mark's wife.
And I did not grow up in this world.
But she's grown to love it.
My mother-in-law had told me the desert has its own type of beauty. You just have to look for it.
That was more than 25 years ago when she and her husband Mark left college in Logan to run his family's operation.
We're 25 miles from the nearest neighbor, and it was just the two of us here. I called my mom a lot in the beginning.
Now, Nikki is the mom. 6 children raised on the ranch. 3 are grown. A daughter married and ranching in Duchesne County. 2 sons who see the family ranch in their future.
And my husband always tells him, you can make more money with your mind than I can with my back. But I'm like, they love this just like he does.
Right now, Mark and the kids are in the hills. It's time to round up cattle to move to their winter range.
I'm usually the lunch lady or the treat bringer or the water because I am better in a truck than on a horse because I didn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
He started riding when he was 3, and so did my kids.
Nikki credits her husband for their children's self-reliance and love of the land, though in this family story, she's the one who adapted to the unknown.
He would tell me when we dated, and I tease him about this all the time, he would say, this is probably where we'll end up. Most likely we will be at the ranch, and it's going to be a lot of hard work, and we're never going to have very much money.
A little nervous. Here at the ranch, Nikki isn't alone. Many of their 1,200 head of cattle are already corralled.
Yeah, how long have you been with this Yondo?
Ranch hand Yondo watches the herd. And the dog circling the house, that is Bullet. With the rest of the family in the hills, he's watching me closely. Those hills hold history, including old mining towns. This ranch house tells part of that story.
It was a train depot, and so before this house was built, that was the ranch house they brought down here.
Here's a picture, courtesy of the Utah Historical Society, showing the train on the southern Utah Railroad spur that ran from Newhouse, a ghost town on the Winch's Ranch property, to Frisco. So I'm at the site of a ghost town called Frisco. The Utah Historical Society wrote, by 1879, the United States Annual Mining Review and Stock Ledger was calling the Horn Silver Mine in Frisco unquestionably the richest silver mine in the world now being worked. You've got some ruined buildings of pretty substantial stone along here. The one that's standing the most over here, a big structure, you get a sense that you might be looking at what was once Main Street. Here's what it looked like in the old mining days. The most impressive structure still standing may have once been the company store, or maybe this bank. The Historical Society's report says, like many a boomtown in the West, its streets were lined with saloons, 21 according to one count, gambling dens, and houses of prostitution. One writer called it Dodge City, Tombstone, Sodom, and Gomorrah all rolled into one. Eventually, Frisco's reputation had become so tarnished that Marshall Pearson from Pioche, Nevada, was hired to clean up the town. He allegedly told the lawless elements he did not intend to make arrests. Instead, he planned to shoot on sight anyone he saw breaking the law, and he supposedly killed 6 outlaws on his first night in town. The Horn silver mine collapsed in 1885 with enough warning signs that no one died, except the town itself, abandoned by 1920. But its 5 charcoal kilns, rising as high as 30 feet, still stand sentinel at the eastern edge of the Wawa Valley, now home to just one resilient Utah family. The Wawa Ranch gets a whole lot from a limited supply of spring water. Before it gets to the cattle and the crops, it spins turbines in a small power plant that provides all of their electricity. And they also have strong cell service from towers on the top of Frisco Peak, which is the high point of the range east of the Wawas, the San Francisco Mountains. In studio, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.